place for you. Don't need to complicate it. It's best to keep it basic. Open the book, the word is self-approved. He's Alpha and Omega, the answer since the early ages. What you should do is learn about the greatest. Just so you know, our door is always open. Let's study together instead of debating. Share our differences. Let love heal all that's broken.
And shalom to everyone. We're so glad to have you with us today. This is yours truly, Apostle V.W. Jones Sr. right here on the Proceeding Word. And we're talking about a topic that many people might not like to care about or talk about, but we need to because we don't really understand it. Do you know that the enemy of your faith, please check your microphone, moderators. Do you know that all things in your life will be challenged? Everything in your life, especially of good, will be challenged. So today I'm going to take the time. We want to get into a subject matter that is, I think, very significant when we've been taught it so long within Christendom. When you finally read the actual text, you understand better what it means. Now, though we're not looking to bring any kind of divisiveness or division, I just want you to get victory. And when we get victory because we understand the writ in a way that Elohim intended the writ. And today we want to talk about something we've been preaching for so long, but have not been grasping its true and pure power. So today I want to bring this to you today in a nice form and an accurate way where you can read it for yourself and you're going to learn today. All right, everybody, let's get ready for a word of prayer, shall we? Father, we come before you in the matchless name of our Savior, who is Yeshua HaMashiach. He is holy. He is righteous. He is your servant that you sent, placing your son within, that we might live and know how in this flesh suit to operate according to your word and have the victory that we see Messiah now have sitting next to you in your right hand, making intercession for us, other flesh suits in the earthen realm. And we're asking you today, help us to embrace and to literally see what it is you've put forward that we might operate in the fullness and in the truth of your written and holy and most magnanimous word. Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of you, Yahweh, who is our Elohim. We love and adore you. We bless and exalt you. And we need you to teach us and show us our truths. In the matchless name of Yeshua HaMashiach. Amen. All right, everybody, listen. I want to make sure you guys are hearing this. Moderators, please send down into, because we're going to have a talk today. I'm not just going to speak at you. We're going to have a talk today, a little bit of a talk. And you're going to talk back to me. That's going to be both on Clubhouse, on Facebook, on YouTube, on IG, wherever you are viewing this broadcast today. If you're live with us, we're going to have an interaction with you. If you are, in fact, in another capacity, you will be getting this in archives. And however that works, you're going to know it, understand it for the better. Let's talk about Isaiah chapter number 59. I want us to really go there because of the significance to this passage that we've been preaching forever when the enemy comes in. Everything in your life, believers of he who is and has hung on the cross, everything in your life will be challenged. Everything. There is not one thing in your life that won't be challenged when you attempt to do righteousness. When you keep his commandments, you love him, you keep my commandments. That's what Messiah says. There's nothing that you will not get that you will attempt to do for the glory and the kingdom of Elohim that will not be challenged. It's going to be challenged. And the issue of the challenge is such a significant thing that you need to understand the verbiage we use brings you out because we live in a voice-activated kingdom. Would you all agree?
Yes, I do. Yes, sir.
Thank you for agreeing with that. I believe and I understand, according to the writ, that we live in a voice-activated kingdom. We have been made in Elohim's image and in Elohim's likeness. And in light of that, there is a capacity that we are availed to when we understand it of how we should and how we will, in fact, operate in this earthen realm. Everything I do to glorify the Father in this earthen realm will be challenged by the enemy of faith, not Satan. You see me pausing for effect? Right. Everything in your world will be challenged. The devil can't challenge you and can't challenge me at the same time. Uh, Anybody here from the UK? Esther, beloved, how are you today out of Vietnam? So glad to see you. Esther, she doesn't have a microphone. I wish she did. But the enemy can't challenge Esther. The devil can't challenge Esther in Vietnam and challenge me here in the US of A at the same time. All right, let me try this again.
That is correct.
He can't do it. The enemy is the enemy is not Satan. Satan works in the element of evil, and evil is the enemy of Elohim's good. Your enemy is not the devil. Your enemy is not evil. They are Elohim's enemy. And you, if you are professing, operating, observing, conforming to his will, his way, servant and child of the king, you are his. That's why the battle is not yours. I'm going to come hard and I'm taking off the gloves because I'm about tired of church people right now. If the battle is not yours, stop telling me you're in warfare. The enemy of faith is not your enemy. That is Elohim's enemy. And it wars against anything that is Elohim's. Somebody say, I am Elohim's by faith.
I am Elohim's by faith.
Now, I want y'all to pay attention to this because I know I'm going to mess with everything y'all been uttering throughout Christendom for the last 40, 50 years. But you are not designed to go to war. It ain't your friggin' job. That's why you all over the place and we don't know what we're supposed to be doing because we're picking fights that don't belong to us. Nowhere in the writ does the Bible, the writ, Elohim, tell you to prepare for war and then go after the enemy. He tells you to prepare for war by dressing in his word and launching forward. No, standing still. Matter of fact, against every unction and urge in you to go forward, having done all, stand. Did not say march, did not say lunge forward. He said stand. This battle that you are dressed for is not your battle, it's his. So when the enemy comes in, your job is not to fight. The reason y'all so wacky in churches and we got people losing their friggin' minds is because we are taking on battles we have no capacity to win in our flesh. So you can't be in spiritual warfare, swinging your sword, showing your prowess, and be the king's child at the same time. Because the battle is not yours, it's Elohim's. If you are Elohim's, you run into a strong tower. The righteous run into the strong tower and they are safe. They're not swinging sword. They're not launching catapults. They're not firing off missiles. They're not sending satellites into space. They are in him hidden because the battle ain't yours. Well, I be in spiritual warfare and I'm warring in the spirit. You've been smoking. Whatever you smoking, whatever oil that is, you done got yourself into, yeah, that's hallucinations. You ain't warring in the spirit realm. You war in your mind about making sure that what your flesh suggests doesn't trump what Elohim's word suggests. Your battle is not warring in the spirit for the lost souls of this world. Your battle, if at all, is to make sure that the word of Elohim is what you follow and not your propensities, not your proclivities, and not the things that you sort of kind of like to do, your lusts and your desires. Your war, like Paul tried to tell you, is to bring every thought and subjection and suggestion, every thought and every imagination, you must pull it in your flesh under subjection of the word of Elohim, which you say you serve. Your battle is pulling your thoughts into subjection to the word of Elohim. Prayerfully, you're injecting into your soul. If you're not hiding his word in your heart, then maybe you have nothing to pull those imaginations under. But for those of us who do take his word seriously, you must bring those thoughts of the enemy, the word's enemy, into subjection under the word you say you serve. From that point, the word fights the battle. Your battle is to make the word what leads you. So, everything that you want to do is going to be challenged. It's going to be challenged because you say you serve Elohim, you say you serve his word, you say you live for the purpose of Elohim. If he can use you, he wants to use you. You want him to use you. When the enemy comes in, what do you do? Now, there's two reasons I want to talk about Isaiah chapter 59. And I need y'all to type this in for me if you're out there on Facebook or YouTube. I want y'all to say, the word fights for me. Come on. Y'all can come off mic and say it if you're not anywhere near. Come on. My chats ain't moving. Nobody's put nothing in my chats. Clubhouse is just as I got 4 people in Clubhouse. Can I get somebody to type in the word fights for me? All caps. The word fights for me. Here we go, Yahweh. Here we go. Some of y'all gonna get delivered today. Some of y'all gonna stop fighting battles that don't belong to you. Are y'all ready for this? Come on, mean that from your heart. Say the word fights for me. The problem is, do I have that weaponry on me? Do I have the word hid in my heart like David did? You see? Because if I don't have the word in me, then the Holy Ghost can't pull the word out of me to fight for me when the enemy comes upon me. The battle ain't yours. That spiritual world, you want to go like you Indiana Jones or you want to go like you Captain America or you Wonder Woman, and you want to go out into the spirit realm and fight and take back what the enemy stole from you. That is not what the word said. Those are testimonies of actual physical battles, not spiritual battles. So when you understand this particular passage, it puts things into better perspective for you. And I want to make sure you get this clean and clear. Say it again. Just say it. You ain't got to type it again. Say the word of Elohim fights for me.
The word of Elohim for me.
Fights for me.
Now watch this while we move quickly through this, because I want no one to miss this point. It's very significant and it's very real. Isaiah chapter number 59. I'm going to put it on the board. Those of you who are watching on YouTube and watching on Facebook, I'm going to put my Bible up on the screen and I'm going to walk you through this using the tools in the concordance so you can see this with your own eyes. I'll be using the King James Version. I'll be using a Strong's Exhaustive, and I'll use a Strong's Exhaustive Concordance. So I want you to see this. And those of you who are in Clubhouse, if you want to see it, you can go. Someone pin at the top where we can go. They can go to view this if they want to see it live while we're doing it live. All right. So Isaiah chapter number 58. Come on, let's get there. Isaiah 59. I said 58. Isaiah 59. 58 is real good, but Isaiah 59 is deep. And this is why it's important, because we've been messing up so much. Isaiah 59 predicate comes after Isaiah 58. Isaiah 58 is so significant because it tells us that we must keep the word of Elohim in our heart, mind, body, and soul, and honor the feast of Sukkah. He's talking about the fall feast, but watch this. Isaiah chapter number 59. And I want to read it in context so we get the whole passage. Everybody reads this passage, this passage in Isaiah 59 that talks about when the enemy comes in, right? We all love this. Isaiah 59:19, but I'm going to take y'all to Isaiah 59:1, and then we're going to read the 19. But pay attention. Stop thinking the battle is yours, people. Stop thinking you being a prayer warrior, you are warring in the spirit. You actually are causing more complications and tedious time usages of unnecessary and futile efforts when you think you got to go to war with the enemy. You don't go to war with the enemy. You go to war with the inner me. Make that a quote, make it a reel. I don't care what we do with it, but that does not get made something today. You don't go to war with the enemy of Elohim. You go to war with the inner me. Not the enemy. You go to war with the inner me. Can y'all say that so I know y'all got that? Say, I war with the inner me.
I war with the inner me.
You do not war with Elohim's enemy, because the enemy of Elohim is not your enemy. The enemy of Elohim is Elohim's enemy, and you happen to be Elohim's. That's why he says, the righteous, I am your strong tower. You run into me and you are safe. I fight this battle, not you. Sit your narrowed flesh driven behind down, thinking you so spiritual that you can fight with spirits you can't even see. I did say I was coming hard today, right? Okay. So now people want to think, okay, well, Apostle, that's just crazy. No, watch what Elohim tells you. When you go to war, your only war is making sure when something confronts you, you allow Elohim and his word to answer. You don't go looking for the devil to fight him. You don't go looking for spirits to fight them. You don't go looking for demons and chasing imps. You don't need to do any of that. You need to live on this earth, obey his word, till his ground. Let me say this to y'all, my eyeballs. Till his ground, operate under his instructions. Now you are warring on behalf of Elohim. Why? Because the enemy of faith doesn't want any human doing what the word of faith says. That war is where you are caught in the middle, but it ain't yours to fight. You pick a side. Either you're going to be on the word side or you're going to be on the enemy of the word side. You ain't warring in the spirit. Yeah, it is a wow. We've been tripping and being gassed up and hyped up to think that we are supposed to be doing some supernatural stuff. You don't do. Matter of fact, you are natural. When you take his word, that's his super. He puts that on your natural, and now you can say you're supernatural. But here's the catch. Your natural never engages the war. He does. Any war that you are under is in your mind. If I'm hit with depression, if I'm hit with lying, if I'm hit with somebody backstabbing me, if I'm hit with somebody demeaning my character, speaking negative of my nature, if I'm dealing with anything that confronts me, a physical ailment, If I'm dealing with a terminal diagnosis, I must fight in my mind to listen to what the world suggests, but make sure I let the word respond to anything in my natural realm. Now you've put the super of his word on your natural. That's the only war you got. Once you put his word on the issue that's confronted you, you back up. You just stand there. Elohim's word takes care of the rest. That's what we have been missing. That's why people around here getting church hurt. That's why people around here wigged out. And when you hear them talk, oh, I'm super duper this and I'm super duper that. I'm chasing the devil, cutting demons down. I'm fighting in the spirit realm. No, you are not. You are making a complete error in making sure that Elohim fights your battle. How the heck are you going to fight a battle you can't even see? The word can see it though. And if something shows itself from the realm of the spirit, principalities, powers, rulers of darkness of this world, spiritual wickedness in high places, witchcraft, voodoo, the Obi man, whatever kind of Santa Maria, whatever kind of garbage of witchdom that you got out there, when it reveals itself to you, you instantly put on the armor. That's all the fight you do. You ain't Iron Man. You're not Superwoman. You're not Aquaman. You definitely ain't Spider-Man. And you're not the Hulk. You are not a Marvel character. You are not a DC comic character. You're not the Green Lantern. You don't fight realms you don't understand. You fight the realm you do. I know me. I know what's inside of me. I know what wars against my consciousness every day. I know my proclivities. I know my propensities. I know my way of thinking. And the word, I have to filter my thoughts through the word. So what the enemy presents to my thoughts, my war is saying, that's a good idea. My war is saying, it sounds good, but what does the word say? Because the moment I filter that thought through the word, watch this, it will give me the guide and the direction I should go. Now, if I don't put that word on top of that suggestion, in keeping that suggestion, obeying that proclivity, that propensity, carrying that thing out, I get myself into trouble. And the wage of sin is separation from the life giver. That's what death means. That's for all the spiritual people out there who don't know that's what death means. So when we understand that obeying the word, which is the life giver, we put ideas under the scope and the actual telescope of life. The life is the word. Now, when the enemy comes, why is he tripping on this piece? And his subject is when the enemy comes in. Isaiah 59. Watch what he says. Are y'all learning anything? If you are, give me some emojis out there. Let me know y'all still alive. Hit up. So let's do something here. Watch this, Isaiah 59. Listen. Behold. Listen, look at this. Look at this. I'm putting on the screen right now so y'all can watch it. Here it is. Behold, Isaiah 59:1. Listen. Behold, Yahweh's hand is not shortened, that it cannot save. Neither is Elohim's ear heavy, that he can't hear. But your iniquities have separated between you and your Elohim. Oh, I'ma tell mom, listen, verse 1, Yahweh's hand is not shortened that it cannot save you when the enemy comes at you. Neither is his ear heavy that he can't hear you when you cry out because of an oppression. Verse 2, but the reason he can't save you, the reason he can't hear you is because of your iniquities. That's what has separated you between you and your Elohim. and your sins have hid his face from you, that he will not hear. Whoa. Look at verse 3. For your hands are defiled with blood. Your fingers are defiled with iniquity. Your lips have spoken lies. Your tongues have muttered perverseness. None of you have called for justice. None of you have pled for truth. None of you and all of you are trusting in vanity and speaking lies. You conceive mischief and then you bring forth iniquity. Oh, this is going to read different for a lot of y'all today. Just stay tuned. Don't get mad. Don't leave because I said some stuff that Christendom has made monikers and Christian has made mantras. I want to make sure y'all get this. Look at, I'm going to read verse 1 through 3 again. Behold, Yahweh's hand is not short. His ear is not heavy that he can't hear. His hand is not short that he can't save you. But your iniquities have separated between you and Elohim. Your sins have hid his face from you, so he cannot hear you. Verse 3, your hands have been defiled with other people's blood, gossip, murdering, backstabbing. Your fingers with iniquity. Your lips have spoken lies. Your tongues have muttered perverseness. Nobody calls for justice. Nobody is pleading for truth. Your vanity is in trust. Your trust is in vanity and speaking lies. They conceive mischief and they bring forth iniquity. They have cockatrice eggs. They have weaved the spider's web. He that eateth of their eggs dies, and which is crushed breaks out into a viper. Verse 5 again, so you can get it. They hatch cockatrice eggs. They weave the spider's web. That means they're trying to catch someone. He that eats of their eggs will die. And that which is crushed, that breaks forth out into a viper. So if you actually get in there, what you are involved with will kill you. Verse 6, listen to what the prophet of Elohim is trying to say to Israel. Their web shall not become garments, neither shall they cover themselves with their works. Their works are works of iniquity, and their works are acts of violence in their own hands. Verse 7, their feet run to evil. They make haste to shed innocent blood. Their thoughts are thoughts of iniquity. Remember what your battle is, people. Your battle, your war is with the inner me. When the thoughts of iniquity come, when the ideals of violence come, when the manifestations of issues that should make you run to evil come, when you want to shed innocent blood, when you want to gossip, you have to let the word of Elohim filter that action that you are attempting to sanction. When the word is filtered through, you will not carry out these deeds. We're talking about the enemy coming in, y'all. I'm sorry it was preached to y'all the wrong way for so many years by many, not by all, but by many. Watch verse 7 again, Isaiah 59:7. Their feet run. Oh, it's going to be quiet on this platform today. Their feet run. The day that the apostle that Isaiah the prophet is speaking of is Israel. He's talking about his own. He says, their feet run to evil. They make haste to shed blood. Is that any different than the modern day church today? Is that any different than the communities you live in today? Don't we run to evil? Aren't we quick to shed blood? Don't we do the cancel media, social what's that? Cancel, what's that? Cancel movement or something like that? Don't we quickly go and murmur and complain and take rumors and spread them, tell that? Don't we do this? Yes, that's us. Watch this. Verse 7 again, 59:7, Isaiah 59:7. Their feet run to evil. They make haste and shed blood. Their thoughts are thoughts of iniquity. Wasting and destruction is in their paths. Look at verse 8, y'all. The way of peace, the way of shalom, they know not. Beside that, there is no judgment in where they're going. They haven't filtered the thoughts. They haven't filtered their next move through the word of Elohim. Remember verse 7. Look at verses 7 through 1. The stuff he says. Look, they're running to evil. They're making haste to shed innocent blood. They don't even know the ways of peace. Doesn't Yahweh say, follow peace with all men? Verse 8 says they don't know peace. I would submit today to modern day Christendom. Let me come off this page so I can look y'all in your face. It's so quiet on YouTube. Usually y'all over there type it up a storm. There ain't about nothing to say. We don't know peace because we don't know his word. You're not following peace with all men because we don't know his word. They don't know his word. That's what the prophet was saying. Israel, the reason you are in this conquered state, the reason you are in this subservient state is because you don't know the shalom. You don't know the peace. You don't know his word. Your thoughts are of evil, that's natural with your flesh. Your thoughts of shedding blood, that's natural with the flesh. Your thoughts are trapping people, that's natural with the flesh. Your thoughts are to put your fingers in iniquity, that's natural with the flesh. But what Elohim gave to you through Moshe, when he gave you the Torah, was the ways of peace and righteousness, the ways of his kingdom. But the reason you keep getting defeated by other kingdoms is because you're fighting those kingdoms in your flesh. And therefore, you're not going to win against those kingdoms unless you know and work by my spirit. When his word is what governs your nation will always prosper and will not be subservient to another. So you going out thinking you're going spiritual warfaring, you are not in his spirit when you do that. Come on, we got a war in the spirit. No, that means your head ain't right. Get your head in the word. Follow peace with all men. Holiness without which no man shall see Elohim. And by the way, for some of y'all who think you can tell God what to do, how dare you? You cannot tell Elohim what to do. There's this moniker out here. There's this conversation out here. Order your day. Command your day. We live in a voice-activated kingdom. The reason your voice has power is when whatever confronts you gets a response from your voice that is literally filled with his word. And his word saying for it, let me give you an example. Let me give you an example for y'all think I'm tripping. The doctor tells you you have a chronic or a terminal diagnosis. What is your response? To go out and find everything that Dr. Sebi put out. I'm not against Dr. Sebi. I love his natural stuff. Or everything that Dick Gregory put out, or everything that Dr. Oz put out and fight against it. That's where you made your mistake. When you get a terminal illness, you get a terminal diagnosis, you get any kind of diagnosis, you have a manifestation in the natural, you must in fact proclaim these words first. Healing is the children's bread. That's your declare. Once you've done that, you've put his super on the natural problem in your body, and then you know healing is the children's bread. From there, he will guide you which doctor to go to, which therapy to seek out. But because we're like, oh, everything on the internet, we've made Google our God. We've made Bing our God. We've made some self-proclaimed, self-inflated person our God who says, I got this information. The government don't want you to know about it. This is what's causing this. And you need this for that and this for the other. This medicine will heal you. This herb will heal you. This thing. And all of them have side effects that you have not considered. But when you get with Elohim and you're like, Father, like I did several times, Father, they told me I have this. You said healing is your bread. If I'm to live with this, you help me. But by your stripes, I am healed. Where do I now go? That's warring in the spirit. Guess what? I'm not warring against the spirit of cancer. I'm not warring against the spirit of tuberculosis. I'm not warring against the spirit of lupus. I'm not warring against the spirit of sickle cell anemia. No, I am not. I put my body, which has been attacked by those things. When the enemy came into my person, I then went into that strong tower and I said, Father, this impaled me. I'm here in your hands to have this removed. Healing is the children's bread. I am your child. Yeshua HaMashiach lived, died, rose again from the grave, and you are the reason for that. I believe that with my heart. I speak that with my mouth. Therefore, I am saved. I am your child. Now, whatever has to happen, whether you miraculously come down and take your own hand and pull this out of my system, or you send me to the appropriate doctor that will actually help to alleviate and bring the circumstances that I have to render, to conclusion, to remedy. Now, Zion, some of y'all think I've lost my mind and you'll probably tune me off and you'll never tune back in again. But we do way too much in Christendom. And then you want to cry and have 18 pastors pray over you, and ain't none of them got the Spirit of God. Or at least, I said 18. So at least 13 of them don't have the Spirit of God. They got the spirit of money. They're trying to preach, make their names great, and they want to make you a spectacle of their next miracle. I said it. Please come and check me. So now you want to go and pray. Everybody over the nation, you're on Facebook, you're on YouTube, you're on Twitter, you're on TikTok. Y'all pray for me. Everybody in the nation praying for you does not make Elohim move. The only way Elohim moves to aid you is when you come to him. He don't care about nobody else praying for you. He needs you to come and tell him who he is in your life. Now he moves on your behalf. I don't care what you're dealing with, divorce, sickness, financial ruin. I don't care what it is, an arrest record. You must go to the Father. He waits for you to come to him. And when you come to him, you don't need nobody else. Your apostle can't help you here. Your bishop can't help you here. Your pastor can't help you here. The inner me is what's keeping you from the joy Elohim wants to produce through you. Joy means strength. So you get that right. So when you step before the Father and you tell him, I have been infirmed, but I know by faith healing is my bread. You promised it. You can't lie. Because the moment someone gets a diagnosis, the moment someone gets the enemy to come in, they automatically freak out. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Well, what God is you oh my God into? You need to turn to him and say, you are Yahweh Rapha, the Lord my healer, by name. You are Yahweh Yireh, the Lord my provider, by name. You are Yahweh Uzai, the Lord my strength. Call him by his name. I'm not Beyonce, but I promise you, Yahweh is like, say my name, say my name. You understand me? That's what he wants you to do. Oh, you don't believe me? Go to Psalms chapter 91. Because you have known my name, when you call on me, I will answer. Oh, that gets to my very soul. You are not in warfare fighting against spirits that ain't fighting against you. You are not in warfare because something came at you, or some other nation or some other neighborhood or some other person in your family is going through gender issues of confusion, going through drug addictions which have them confused. You're not in spiritual warfare going against those things. You're not making a change. Wait a minute, apostle. Somebody prayed for me, had me on their mind. They took the time to pray for me. That prayer can only be the prayer of salvation. Until you get saved, you can't get the cachet of blessings Elohim has for any human. Every human is to have this. But you only have access to the grace that brings you healing, that puts you above and not beneath, that makes you head and not the tail, that makes you lend to nations, that brings you out, puts your enemy in front of you, flees from you 7 ways. You can't get none of that shalom unless you come through the door of Yeshua HaMashiach, unless you come through the door of using his word. I am the way, the truth, the life. No man comes unto the Father but by me. Now, Paul says, everything that you have from Elohim, he will supply all your need according to his riches in glory, but you can't get them except you come through Yeshua HaMashiach. Facts. Go read it in Galatians. I didn't make it up. It's in the writ. Now, we can try to preach it anyway and say we can tell God what to do. No, you can't. How dare you think you could go and tell God, come down, God, and heal this person, God, and come down now and fix this problem, God, and come down now and avenge mine adversary, God. You can't tell God one thing to do. You can remind him of what he promised you. But how dare you think you could demand him like he's your child or your subservient worker or your employee at your company or your politician running for presidency? He ain't trying to get in the office. He is the office. You can't tell him what to do. You can remind him of what the benefits of being in this kingdom are, and then he makes those things happen. Those are yours. So when the enemy comes in, who really are you fighting? I know I just irritated half the world on that. Moderators, get my screen straight. So I want us to understand what this looks like. I need us to remember what Elohim is doing for us, towards us, and through us. He wants you and I to understand when the enemy comes in, don't freak out. What you mean by that, Apostle? Let's go back to Isaiah chapter 59. I'm at verse 8. Listen to this. Verse 7 again. Their feet. I'm putting on the screen for y'all can watch it so you can see it. I'm putting on the screen so you can see it. Watch this closely. He says, their feet, that's Israel. Somebody say, that's me. Say, that's me. Say, that's me. Come on.
That's me.
That's me.
That's me.
This prophet is talking to people who say they love God. Israel, you need to catch this. Israel, please catch this. Israel, your feet run to evil. Israel, you haste to shed innocent people's blood. Your thoughts are thoughts of iniquity. Wasting and destruction are in your path, Israel. That's who the prophet's talking to. Then he says in verse 8, the way of peace Israel knows not. There is no judgment in the way Israel is going forward. Now, y'all know we can actually substitute the word Israel for they and they for church. This is a believer. You got to understand what he's talking to. These people do not believe in Elohim. They just not have kept his ways. Verse 8 again, the way of shalom you know not. There is no judgment in your goings. They have made them crooked paths for themselves, and wherever they go, therein they shall not know any peace. They will not know shalom. Verse 9, therefore is judgment far from us. Wow. Neither does justice overtake us. Oh my goodness. We wait for light, but behold, all we have is obscurity. Listen, for brightness, we end up walking in darkness because we don't have peace. We don't know the shalom. Verse 10, we grope for all the wall like the blind. So that means that you know how a blind person is walking along trying to feel the wall. Yeah, we're groping for the wall like a blind man, and we grope as if we had no eyes. We stumble at noonday as if it was nighttime. We are desolate places as dead men. Dead meaning separated from the life giver. Verse 11, watch this. We roar. We're in Isaiah 59:11. Pay attention. We roar all like bears, and we mourn sore like doves. See, verse 11 deals with all of you who think your job is to be out here in spiritual warfare. You roar like bears. Oh God, oh God, oh God. Actually, it's a sad indictment. And yet, when all that roaring and roaring you've done like a bear, like you got God behind you, when it finally gets done and you get the results of that, you mourn like a dove. Ooh, 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 ooh. That's what that means. You roar like a bear at first because you think, I'm in warfare. I'm fighting the devil. I'm chasing demons. I'm devil busting and all. Sit down. Stop it. Because when it's all done, the same people talking about, I'm trusting God for this and I'm trusting God for that and God gonna do and God gonna do. And 8 months later, it didn't work out like I planned. I bit off more than I can chew. What happened to the God being with you in your thoughts and you commanding God and telling God to move mountains and stuff? What happened? We roar like bears. It's a problem we've had throughout Christendom as well as Israel since the giving of the Torah. Verse 11, listen to it closely. We roar like bears. We mourn sore like doves. We look for judgment, but guess what? There is none. Because salvation, which is his word, is far off from us, which means we will do more church stuff. We will do more spiritualist stuff than what the word says. And the fact that the word is our salvation, of course, the word is far from us. We roar like bears, mourn like doves. We look for judgment, but there is none. Why? Because salvation is put far from us. Our transgressions are multiplied before you, Elohim. Verse 12, our sins testify how? Against us. Our transgressions are with us. And as for our iniquities, watch this. You know what you did. That person ain't got to tell you what you did last summer. Joker, you know what you did. Jones, you know what you did. You know your iniquities. That's why I love King David. He was like, listen, for my sins are ever before me. Against you, Elohim, and you alone have I sinned. My sins are ever before me. You know what you did, but you want to act like, yeah, I will. I mean, you know what? I don't. No, you know what you did. Your iniquities are there. That's why we can't get what we need, because we will not filter our thoughts before they become sins through the word of Elohim, which keeps us from sin, so that salvation can be near us, so that the judgment of Elohim against evil towards us can be brought forward. Verse 13 says, listen, in transgressing and lying against Yahweh. Oh, there you go again. I'm about to crush a whole bunch of stuff you guys have been using as these mantras. In transgressing and lying against Elohim and departing away from our Elohim. Do you know that when you say God is doing this and God is doing that in this season and God, you're lying against him? God is moving here and God is not moving where you say go. He's already told you where he's going to be. Did you come? Are you sitting with him in silence? Are you listening to him earnestly? Are you observing to do what he said, or you keep giving him your friggin' list of stuff that he's not obligated to produce or perform? So this is what Isaiah the prophet is saying to Israel. Now, I hope y'all don't get my passion wrong with me accusing you of anything, but Cinderella, or Cinderella, if the shoe or the Jordan fits. All right. Verse 13, in transgressing and lying against Elohim, we've departed away from Elohim, speaking oppression, speaking revolt, conceiving and uttering from the heart words of falsehood. Remember, out of the abundance of the heart, what happens, y'all? The mouth speaks. Ooh. Look at 13 again. In transgressing and lying against Elohim, which is being done just about every day by almost many organizations that we know of this called faith, we are departing from Elohim because we lying against Elohim. God gonna do this. God gonna do that. God gonna bring you husband. God gonna bring you wife. God gonna bring you out. God gonna give you a breakthrough. Can I stop for a second about this breakthrough? I really want to touch this. I need permission to talk about breakthroughs. Can I talk about a breakthrough with y'all? Please.
Yes, you can.
That was one person. I need 3 people to let me know I can talk about breakthrough.
Yes, sir. Oh, yeah.
That was 1. That was 2. I need a 3rd person.
Yes, sir. Go right ahead.
Thank you very much. Do y'all know breakthrough is illegal? You know Elohim don't work in breaking through your problems. The phrase alone is counter Elohim. Breakthrough is tantamount to breaking and entering. Oh, well, we got to break through the barriers the enemy set up. That's not what anywhere in the Bible, nowhere in your Bible will you read a breakthrough benefited any believer. As a matter of fact, breakthrough impaled the believer. Go study it. If you know me, I'm not bringing you something I've not already read, vetted 4 or 5 times over. Stop praying for breakthroughs. That's why you're not getting your prayer answered. Because Yahweh don't steal. A breakthrough means a breaking in and entering, taking something that don't belong to you. Hello, I got to move on. Please go check it. Please go check it. Please go check it. Because I know I just messed up 18 sermons. Listen, I want you to catch this because it gets even better. When you understand Isaiah chapter 9, chapter 59, we understand better what it means when the enemy comes in like a flood. Now, I'm breaking this down so when the enemy that comes in like a flood, or the enemy comes in, you understand how it's supposed to be stated and said. Now, many people, we don't like that. It is an ouch, Mary Roche, a prophet, Pastor Mary Roche, you have said the one word that means the most today. Let me put it on the screen. That word is ouch. That has stepped on my toes more times than it will step on your toes while I'm teaching it to you. Because I had to check myself with this. I'm like, oh my God, what have I been doing? I did what I was taught. And I even fought it when I heard it taught by another individual until I, separate and apart from them in every possible way, began to read his writ in Shabbat. And I'm like, oh my goodness, we've been doing this wrong. I hope y'all not really tuned off. Ooh, boy, we lost a lot of people on Clubhouse. Ooh, shadadadabahai. Listen, Father, I need you to help me, strengthen me. Listen to this. Watch. Look at this next piece. Let's go back quickly to Isaiah 59. Watch what he says. Verse number 13. In transgressing and lying against Elohim, Yahweh, departing from our Elohim, we've been speaking oppression, we've been speaking revolt, we've been conceiving and uttering from our hearts words of falsehood. Out of the abundance of your heart, your mouth speaking. Guess what? If the word of Elohim is not in your heart, what will you be speaking? Yeah. It won't be the word, will it? Because out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So if you keep taking in falsehoods about his word, knowingly or unknowingly, then you will only speak the falsehoods you've gathered. And that's the condition Israel is in when Isaiah comes to them. I'm almost done, y'all. I got 5 more verses to read. 6. Y'all ready? Look at verse number 14. And judgment is turned away backward. Justice stands afar off. Why? Verse 13 again. Let me read verse 13 again. Are y'all learning? I'm going to take a pause right here. I'm going to take a station identification break. I'm going to pause right here for a second. Are y'all learning anything? Do y'all want me to finish this? I want to know.
Yes, please. We need you to finish it. Thank you. Yes, we need you to finish it. Absolutely.
Okay. Because it's going to cut a little bit. It's going to cut a little bit because it's going to cut into what we cut our teeth on. And this is where people tend to think that apostle is coming for Christendom. And I'm not. I'm just coming for how we operate. Ready? Here we go. Verse 13 again. In transgression and in lying against Elohim, Yahweh, and departing from Elohim, speaking oppression, revolt, conceiving and uttering from the heart words of falsehood, and judgment is turned away backward. Judgment, because of that, is turned away backward, and justice for us stands afar off. Why? Because we've been speaking out of our mouths, which is predicated on what's in our heart, falsehoods. That's why judgment is turned away from us. That's why justice stands afar off from us. Because truth is falling in the streets and equity cannot enter. Oh my goodness. Can somebody shout Commonwealth? Can y'all type in Commonwealth?
Commonwealth.
If you don't know, now you know. Judgment is turned away backward. Justice stands afar off. Truth is falling in the street, and equity cannot enter. This ain't because of a Black Lives Matter movement. This ain't because of an equal rights movement. This ain't a protest on abortion. This ain't about affirmative action. We don't need none of that legislation in the natural realm. Let me look at y'all on your eyeballs on this one. We don't need anything. The kingdom of Elohim does not need affirmative actions. We do not need civil rights. We do not need all this legislation. Granted, we can affect them if we ever let equity enter into our lives by the way we operate in the word. If we ever let his judgment, his justice into our life in a community of commonwealth that we are demonstrating in the earth, then judicators, then those who write out litigation, those who are politicking will have to come to our community and ask us, guys, how do y'all have such harmony? How do y'all have such prosperity? The rest of us are in inflation. You guys are still prospering. How are you guys making it? What are y'all doing? We don't need affirmative actions. We don't need civil rights movements. We don't need all that stuff. We need the Commonwealth of Israel, the Commonwealth of Elohim in the world. And you and I are those manifestors. You and I are those ambassadors. You and I are supposed to be representing the kingdom of Elohim in the earth. But if we're constantly talking foolishness, if we're constantly talking about we in warfare, spiritual warfare, we fighting for God, you talk falsehoods. You lying on Elohim because he ain't send you out to fight. When did Elohim ever send you to fight his battle? Come on, prophet. God ain't never sent me to fight for him. I've been through a lot of spiritual stuff. Noted, testimonials, recorded. Never has he sent me to fight for him. He sent me to proclaim his word. And not negatively, not in not in an antagonistic way. Just present my word. I do the rest once my word is released. That's external of you and internal of you. You are never fighting Elohim's enemy. You are only at war with your inner me. And that is a process we need to be better teaching within the faith. You can't pray for peace. Can I get in trouble? I'm going to get in trouble on purpose. I'm throwing myself in trouble. I'm putting myself in trouble on purpose. This is not anti-peace. This is not divisive. This is not, I want anybody to win, anybody to lose. That's not what I'm about to say. What I'm about to say is from a Christian perspective, when you and I keep thinking we fight for Elohim, you are going to find yourself in trouble. For instance, if you know the word of Elohim and you follow it through some of the records of the Bible, and then some of the things that Messiah taught us following the writ, you will realize in the day you and I live in, there will be wars and rumors of wars. You can't pray for peace and the stoppage of war because there's a prophecy of continued war. You can't pray for children to stop warring against their mothers and their fathers because Elohim prophesied it's going to be that way. How you stop it is not by protest, it's by proclamation of your own life with your own children, leaving a manifested demonstration in the earth of how you can keep your children from doing what Yahweh prophesied if they follow the world they will do. You got to live it in your home. But guess what? The word's not being lived in our home. Therefore, justice stands afar off. Therefore, peace stands afar off. Therefore, judgment can't come near us because we're not operating the word. But we doing everything Dr. Spock said do, everything Dr. Such and so said do, everything Right Reverend such and so said to do, everything the Pope said to do, everything the presidents of democracy and Marxism and communism say we should do. But nobody is taking the word of God seriously, the word of Elohim to heart and to home. And therefore, children rebel against parents. Therefore, they're divorcing their children and their parents. Adultery, fornication, abortion, gender confusion. All of these things are happening because we have not kept the word solid in our hearts to the point that we make it happen in our own homes. So when the people that go out of our homes, when they go out and they depart and they grow older, they won't depart from what they knew because of what we raised them in. Right now, you're doing everything the internet and possibly some AI entity is telling y'all to do so that you can have a home in a culture that does not acknowledge Elohim. The commonwealth of Elohim is a place that acknowledges and obeys his writ. So what's this got to do with your title, Mr. Apostle Man? Watch. Isaiah 59. Y'all ready? Verse 14. Judgment is turned away backwards because we don't keep his word. Justice stands afar off because we're not giving up his word. Truth is falling in the streets and the equity cannot enter. We can't have commonwealth because we're not speaking his truth in our environment. Verse 15. Yea, truth fails, and he that departs from evil makes himself now a prey. And Yahweh saw it, and it displeased him because there was no judgment in the land. So look at verse 15 clearly before you mess this up. Let's exegete this rightly. Truth fails, meaning no one's carrying the word, no one's bringing the word. And therefore, when a man realizes he's in evil, he don't want to do evil no more. Truth is not in the streets. And it's fallen, it's been trampled under. This man who wants to depart from evil, he now becomes a prey because he has no truth to be a strong tower because no one's propagating the truth. Do y'all see that? Truth fails, and he that departs from evil makes himself a prey now. Why? Because truth was nowhere to help him. And Torah, Yahweh saw it. Watch this. Yahweh saw it. It displeased him that there was no justice. Verse 16, and he saw that there was no man, meaning there was no man carrying his word. Y'all can say, wow.
That is a wow.
Now watch this. Y'all want to talk about your intercessory spirit and your intercessory team and your intercessory prayer partners? Let me tell you the purpose of intercession. Y'all ready? Because this is going to mess up, again, a whole bunch of messages and doctrine inside of what we call the faith of Christendom. Y'all ready? Type in intercessor. Type it in. I want everybody who has a keyboard, a QWERTY board, type in intercessor. I see you, Ruth Copeland. I see you, Tamika Jones. Come on, type in intercessor. Do it for me, please. Do it for yourself. You ain't doing it for me. I see you, Pastor Ford. Good word yesterday. Come on, type in intercessor. Come on, come on. I'm not going to stop until I see enough of them up there. Facebook, YouTube, type in intercessor. I'm not going to go forward until we do this, because this is going to help so much than you know. So much more than you know. Intercessor, intercessor. I see you, Grice. Good, good. I see you, Roche. Good, good. Come on, Floyd. I see you, Calhoun. I see you. Come on. Watch this. Intercessor. Come on, Clubhouse. Intercessor. Type it in. Come on. I'm not moving. Y'all know I can see y'all, right? I'm not moving till we do. I'm not moving till it's done. I'm not going to move. I'm going to stay right here. Yep. I see you, Martin. I see you, Marshall. I see you, Phillips. Hey, Nyoka. Come on, y'all. Type it in. All right. Here we go. Watch this. We're going to talk about intercessors. We're going to talk about intercessors. Everybody talking about the interceding. You on an intercessory prayer team. Listen, let me show you what the word says about intercession. Verse number 15 again. Yea, truth fails. Yea, truth fails. He that departs from evil makes himself a prey, and Yahweh saw it. It displeased him that there was no judgment. Why? Watch this. He saw that there was no man and wondered that there was no intercessor. Therefore, his arm brought salvation unto him, and his righteousness, it sustained him. Isaiah is prophesying. He's prophesying about how bad Israel is, and because of the way they operate, they will still be by the time Yahweh sends his arm. The arm of salvation. Y'all in chapter 59 right now, right? Talk to me.
Yes.
When does Isaiah talk about the arm of salvation? 6 chapters back in 53. To whom shall the arm of Yahweh be revealed? This is prophecy, y'all. Though he's dealing with Israel in real time, he's also dealing with Israel in a time to come. There, when people finally realize we've messed up and they turn from evil, there will not have been enough of the word constantly imputed into their community that when they begin to say, I don't want to do crooked stuff, I don't want to be killing people, I don't want to do this evil, there will now become an issue where they're the prey. Evil will now prey after them, and they have no place to go because nobody's been showing them the shelter of the word. Look at the writ. And then y'all turn this thing around and say, oh, so we supposed to be the intercessors of God. I pray the heavenly cherubs of God and the angels of God come down now and sit camp all about. Yahweh controls the angels, not you. You don't control angels. They're ministering spirits to them that are heirs of salvation. You don't tell the angels where to go. Where we got that foolishness from, I know, but I'm not going to talk about them. But that ain't it. You don't control angels, and you definitely don't tell God what to do. He gave you his word, and when you admonish and administer his word, it does the work. The reason that this person in verse 16, verse 15 becomes a prey is because they got fed up with the evil of the ways that they were doing, but they don't have a shelter to go to now that they've decided and knowing somehow this ain't right. They now become a prey to evil, wanting them demise because it won't work for evil, but it doesn't know what to work for. So when the person stops doing evil, which it was born into, and it's like, this ain't right, I don't want to do this. Any of y'all ever been there? Any of you ever been there where you finally woke up one day and looked at the crew you was hanging with, and you was like, I don't know where to go, but where I'm at, this ain't it. Y'all not gonna talk to me now? Y'all mad at me because I brought this stuff up? I don't know about you, but I woke up sometime. I'm like, I know I'm big in this, and they all look up to me in this, but this ain't where it's at. I don't know why I know this ain't it, but this ain't it. And then I don't know where to go because ain't nobody been telling me externally what I know internally, but I don't know how to find externally that which I know internally. And what I've been involved in externally runs contrary to what I internally know and believe. But this seems to be proving benefits. It's getting me money. It's getting me clout. It's getting me respect. Wrong as it is, murderous as it is, iniquity filled as it is. But I know this. And I just feel like there's got to be something more to life than this. So when that person leaves evil alone, not knowing where the good can be found, and the reason they don't know where the good can be found is because no one has been there teaching the word. So, my dear intercessors, hear what the prophet of Elohim is explaining intercession is all about. Verse 16, and he saw that there was no man, and he wondered that there was no intercessor. Look at what he says next. Because of this, Elohim sent a man named Yeshua HaMashiach, his arm. That's what brought the word of Elohim into the earth, walking in earth. That's salvation. And his righteousness, the man, the arm, is what sustained him. That's a prophecy into the death, the burial, and the life of Yeshua HaMashiach. But look how it plays out for Israel that day. He saw that there was no man, verse 16. He wondered that there was no intercessor. What did Yeshua come to do? Did he come to fight your spiritual battles, or did he come to show you how the word was lived? Did he come to propagate the word? You want to intercede? That's what you do.
Amen.
Well, y'all not gonna talk to me? I know, because I know some of y'all got dubbed and anointed in your church as intercessor. You're on the intercessor prayer team, and this is contrary to what you've ever been taught and all the books you read on intercessory from all these major ministries and all these major books of commentary that you've heard about spirit realm and how you don't learn all that. Y'all don't learn. You know what bothers me about Christendom? Can I say this? And I love Christianity. I want y'all to understand this, but I don't like what we do. Y'all have learned every name of every spirit. The python, the rattlesnake, the leviathan, succubus, incubus. Y'all done learn every name of every other spirit that is the enemy of God and have not learned one name of your God because you call him God. That's a title. All those demigods, the Leviathan, Python, Serpent, Jezebel, Delilah, those are demigods. The names of those demigods. And you don't even know the name of your God. Is that backwards? I think that's what Isaiah said up here in chapter 59. And you talking about you interceding. Who you interceding for? What are you interceding for? And what is it you're interjecting so somebody can get victory with? Because that's what intercession is. You are interjecting something to make a bridge for someone coming out of a bad situation and getting them safely to a new situation. That's an intercessor. Walking around all day crying and messing up mascara, smearing makeup for beards and Grecian formula and all that. That's not intercession. Snotting all over the place, coughing and hacking. That's not intercession. Thinking you commanded angels to move here and there. No. You must understand his word and speak his word, and the word goes out into all the lines of the earth. When you understand the word, when a brother or sister is going through, you now intercede. Hey, bro. Hey, sis. Here's what the word says. How can we get there together? Now you're interceding. Thinking that you can get with 18 other people and go sit out at a park under an oak tree, burning candles, talking about we praying and making a vigil. That's a memorial. That's not an intercessor. That's people mourning, crying together. That's not intercession. Intercession is when you carry the word. This is what this is proof of. He says, verse 16, he saw that there was no man. Look at the verse. Verse 16, he saw that there was no man. This is Elohim saying there was no man. And Elohim wondered, where are the people carrying my word? Why are the people not projecting the words I gave to Moshe? This poor guy is deciding to leave the evil that these people are doing, and he don't even know where to go now. And he becomes a target by evil because he doesn't want to participate in evil, but he does not have a safe house. He does not have my strong tower to run into because nobody has been laying the word of truth. The truth has been failing in the streets. Does this read different for some of y'all? Because I haven't got to the point yet.
It definitely reads different. And I never read it.
So look at verse number 16. They saw there was no man. They wondered that there was no intercessor. This wasn't somebody, we interceded in the spirit realm. For what? How? With what? A tongue you made up? I believe in speaking in tongues more than any of you. There's no one that I'm not better than anybody, but there's nobody that believes in it more than I do. And there may be people that believe in it as much as I do, but speaking in tongues it's been imitated. Speaking in tongues is not your language, it's his. And the only way speaking in tongues comes, watch this. The only way speaking in tongues comes, watch this, is when you have been filled in your heart with his word. Then Ruach HaKodesh comes into your heart and begins to make intercession between you and Elohim. That conversation is led by Ruach HaKodesh. You don't know it. You can't turn it on. You don't possess that language. He does that based on how much word you know in your heart. And then he talks back to the Father on your behalf in the earth. The Father responds back to him in this earthen vessel, and now you move based on those instructions. And it's done that way so the principalities and powers and rulers of this world and spiritual wickedness in high places can't interpret and decipher what Elohim is giving you to do. This ain't no carnival. It ain't no circus. And it requires an intercessory spirit, which means, Father, your word is all I'm concerned with. What does your word say about abortion? What does your word say about same-sex marriages? What does your word say about divorce in the land? What does your word say about governments being greedy? What does your word say about the new world coming, new world order? What does your word say about this? What does your word say about murder? What does your word say about our communities? What does your word say about our children? That's intercession. You're finding the word and then you're propagating it. You're proclaiming it. That's intercession. You going around slinging oil on houses, slinging oils on cars, talking about God, give me this car. That is not interceding. That is not fasting. That is not prayer. That's pleading, help me. To who? I'll leave you to that. But this is what intercession is about. Who has been in the streets carrying his word, rightly dividing the word of truth so others can learn and know that when they want to stop doing drugs, when they want to stop prostituting, when they want to stop scamming, when they want to stop politic lying, where do I come to amend my way? Where do I come to get on the right path? Because though they leave that bad place they find that they're in and their consciousness won't let them stay, they still have not had a place by many people in its community of where I should go next. So that's how they end up in other faith systems, because no one is carrying the word of Elohim into the streets by living it, so that when this person does desire to stop what they're doing and come to a place of potentially doing right, they can get in a proper vehicle to be transported. Verse 17, let me move on. Look at what he says, y'all. Y'all thought Paul was making stuff up, huh? Look at verse 16. There was no man. He wondered where the intercessors were. Therefore, his arm brought salvation unto him, and his righteousness is sustained by him. Verse 17. For he put on righteousness as a breastplate. Sound like Ephesians? And a helmet of salvation upon his head. What y'all thought Paul was talking about? He put on garments of vengeance for clothing, and he was clad with zeal as a cloak. Verse 18. According to their deeds, accordingly he will repay fury to his adversaries, recompense his enemies. To the islands he will repay recompense. So shall they fear the name of Yahweh from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. Let me help y'all with this so y'all can catch this. Some of y'all didn't pay attention, but you'll learn today. Listen to this. This is important. This is important. Listen to this closely. This is important. Now, what's it say here? So shall they fear the name of Yahweh. Notice the name of Yahweh, not the name of the Lord. That's his name is Yahweh, right? That's the name of the Lord, right? They will fear, tremble, reverence, revere that from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. Well, does anybody know that they just said from the west to the east? Because where does his glory arise? Where does the sun arise? It rises in the east. It goes down in the west. I'm going to keep moving. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, Yahweh shall lift up a standard against him. As for me, this is my covenant, Elohim says, with them, says Yahweh. My spirit that is upon you, and my words, which I have put in your mouths, shall not depart out of your mouth, nor out of the mouth of your seed, if you tell them, nor out of the mouth of your seed's seed, if you tell them to tell them, says Yahweh, from henceforth and forever. Oh my goodness, it got so quiet on these lines. Ain't nobody typing in nothing on YouTube, Facebook. Nobody's on Clubhouse. I want you to understand that there is an appropriate way of looking at what Yahweh has done. Listen, verse 19. So shall they fear the name of Yahweh from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. That's the east. When the enemy comes in, now you was always taught when the enemy comes in like a flood, because that's the way they put this comma here. That comma is an inaccurate placement. When the enemy shall come in, comma, like a flood, the spirit of Yahweh will lift up a standard against him. Let me help y'all. If the enemy comes in like a flood, you have no time to lift up a standard. The standard and anything for the standard gets washed away because the flood has come. But when the enemy comes in, like a flood, Elohim will lift up a standard. The enemy, he can't compete against this. And a flood doesn't just mean water, y'all. A flood could be mud. You can be flooded with, you can be flooded. We always associate flood with water, right? But you can be flooded with a desert dust storm. So when the enemy comes in, he's going to drown. Yahweh will drown him out. Oh, by the way, since we want to talk about the word, now are you cleansed by the washing of the water, which is the word of Elohim. So when the enemy comes in, anybody who knows his word, the word will flush out the enemy. What you say, man? Right. The war is not external. It's internal. You have to filter every thought that the enemy, notice it doesn't say the devil. It says the enemy of his faith. When that comes in at you, if you got the word in you, it will swell up like a flood and raise a standard to say, we don't do that. We're above that, and wash that thought right out your head. Y'all not going to talk to me today? I think I'm done. I think I've talked my time. So when the enemy comes in, look at the passage one more time. Look at the passage one more time. Verse 19. So shall they fear the name of Yahweh. Somebody shout Yahweh right now. Somebody shout Yahweh, Yahweh, Yahweh right now. Somebody shout Yahweh. The name of Yahweh is my strong tower.
Yahweh.
Come on, come on, come on. Light this line up. Say shout Yahweh. Come on.
Yahweh.
There's a prophetic moment here.
Yahweh.
Shout Yahweh. Some of y'all need to shout it because you don't know what the hell is coming at you right now. Somebody need to shout Yahweh right now.
Yahweh. Yahweh.
Yahweh.
That was just so pressed in my soul to tell y'all that. Shout Yahweh. You don't know what from hell is heading your way right now. But if you put Yahweh up at the beginning, he's already got the standard set. So listen, some of y'all, the enemy is coming. You just don't know when he's coming. But if you right now get your standard set up, when the enemy comes in, you'll be far above it. Shout Yahweh in your space, wherever you are, your home, your house, your car, your cubicle, your job, your office, wherever you are. Shout Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Why do we shout Yahweh? He is our strong tower. He is our strong tower. The righteous run into him and we are saved. It's the name of Yahweh our Elohim. The I am that I am. The I will be. That which you need, I will be. That's what Yahweh means. So right now, you don't know what the enemy is bringing at you. You don't know what conflict is coming at you. You don't wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principality and power and ruler of darkness, this world of spiritual wickedness in high places. That's why the enemy has done such a wonderful job making sure you never knew the name of Elohim. So when you know the name of Yahweh, you've given yourself a strong tower. When you know the name of Yahweh, your Elohim, you've given your place a go-to. When you know the name of Yahweh, your Elohim, you've come into a place where you said, I don't want to do evil no more. You now know where to go. That is the process of intercession. That is the process we need to begin to understand and embrace. When you shout that name Yahweh, when you speak of Yahweh, when you understand he is the I am, that I am in your life, he will do exceeding and abundantly above all you could ever ask or think. And he does not fail. So when the enemy come in, verse 19, they that fear the name of Yahweh from the west and his glory to the rising of the sun. Do y'all understand what he's saying? So they that fear the name of Yahweh, do you fear the name of Yahweh? Do you reverence the name of Yahweh? That's what he's saying here. They that reverence the name of Yahweh. You don't believe me? Let me show it to you. Look at this in the concordance. The word fear. Y'all like, ooh, fear, tremble. No, fear. The name, the word fear. Look at the right part of your screen. It is the word Yareh. The word Yahweh means to fear, morally to revere it. It references frightened, but it's the kind of a fright to be made dreadful, to put in fear. It's to put in reverence of his name because of his terrible actness and terribleness, his terrible acts, the things that he can do. You're in reverence of him. So, I need some of y'all to revere his name. It says, so they that revere the name of Yahweh from the west and revere the name of Yahweh based on his glory that is rising of the sun. When the enemy ever comes against you like a flood, the spirit of Yahweh will lift up a standard against that enemy, and the Redeemer shall come to Zion. That's you. And unto them that turn from transgression in Jacob, says Yahweh, as for me, this is my covenant with them, says Yahweh. My spirit that is upon you and my words which I shall put in your mouth shall not depart from your mouth, not out of your mouth, nor your seed's mouth, says Yahweh, from this point forward and forever. We've been preaching this thing weird. When you are a reverer of the name of Yahweh, anytime the enemy come in, like a flood, Yahweh will lift up a standard. Let me ask y'all something. Is a strong tower a standard? You can say yes. A strong tower, when a flood comes, or a strong tower, rather, when the enemy comes, you can see anything else with it. That's why the name of Yahweh is your strong tower. When the righteous feel that the enemy is coming, you run into that tower, you run up that tower to the top where you look out over all the plain. And you can see if the enemy's by himself or has people flanking your kingdom and is coming at you for any other reason. And that standard helps you prepare to battle, to war. Not that you war, that battle now becomes his, because you're saying, Yahweh, I'm here. You seeing this? And Yahweh like, yeah, I see it, son. I see it, daughter. I got it. And then his angels, they set a fence all about you every day. So when the enemy comes in, like a flood, Yahweh raises a standard in your mind. In your mind. You have to remember any thought from your flesh that comes at you needs to be filtered by the word. You have to war in your mind to put the word above your idea. And if your idea makes it through the fire of that word, then you go with that idea. But if your idea gets burned up into ash by that word, you know it meant you no good, could never do you any good, and it was just a futile effort in unrighteousness in the earth based on how you now want to live. I'm okay with y'all calling me crazy.
Sounds like you saying to me.
This is what the word of Elohim, appreciate that. This is what the word of Elohim wants you and I to understand. Yahweh's hand is not short that it can't serve and save. Neither is his ear heavy that he can't hear. This whole process of going around being an intercessor, if you're not speaking his word, you're not interceding. If you're not sharing his word, you're not interceding. You're pointing out a problem. You may be protesting. Protesting doesn't stop a major entity from doing much of what it wants to do. It may make you come in and sit down with that entity you protest, but they still going to do what they want to do. They may incorporate some of your ideals and make you feel a little bit more involved. But intercession is when you stand 10 toes down on the word of Elohim. And when someone needs that word, you're there to render it. Not to browbeat, not to condemn, but to say, hey, you need a lifeboat? Here it is. Hey, you need this, you need that? Here it is. This is what we do. That's what we do. That's how we operate. So Zion, keep in mind, read the writ in context, not for content, as we have a lot of content providers now in the world of social media. And you can become popular with content provision. But if you don't understand that content in context, then you can mislead a lot of people because you sold content. Make sure you're more concerned about context, why it's written, why we should honor it, why we shouldn't do this, why we should do the other, and connect it directly to Elohim's word. Do not take the Bible and simply sell content. Do not break it up in pieces and try to sell it for popularity, for status, for clout. When the enemy comes in at you and you've realized, I don't want to live this way anymore, only them that revere the name of Yahweh will have the word in them rise up like a flood to wash out that type of thought. But have we had enough intercessors sharing the word for context, not content, not competition? An intercessor by the prophet Isaiah, who is an intercessor, Ezekiel, who is an intercessor, Daniel, who is an intercessor, Yeshua, who is an intercessor, proven here in 59:16. That's the arm of Yahweh. That's who Yeshua is, the arm of Yahweh. To whom shall the arm be revealed? Them that fear the name of Yahweh. Isaiah 59 is just like Isaiah 53 if you go back and read it. All we have gone astray like sheep. We just gone our own way. You see what he talks about in 59. They just did their own thing, doing their own thing, thinking they're making their own righteousness, not his. And when someone decides to no longer do wrong, they don't know where to go and get consumed by wrong again. They become prey now. Read different, don't it? Well, did we ever really read it? Or did we ever just go there because someone preached when the enemy come in like a flood? And we stayed at verse 19. You got to read the whole thing to understand what it meant. So it don't mean when the enemy comes in like a flood. The flood hits you, it's too late. Because you can't lift up a standard in a flood. Now Yahweh can. But Yahweh's not there just to deliver you. He also prepares you for your enemies or his enemy's arrival. And since it's his enemy, that's why it's his strong tower you go into. All right. I hope you guys have understood this. I hope it was helpful.
Yes, it was. Thank you so much.
Well, I hope that you guys have extended microphones down to our people in the VIP sections down there. You're more than welcome here, guys, and we love to have you guys here. I hope that this was something that you could take back and maybe chew on and chop up and think about, consider. My passions when I'm teaching are not that I'm blaming anybody or fighting with anybody. It's just my job is to deliver the word as it is. And I hope and pray that there is something that makes you and makes us all think and consider. If you've not joined the Proceeding Word, please hit the Proceeding Word on Clubhouse. Join, ask to join. You do have to be vetted in because we got a lot of bots and trolls out there that just we don't have time for. But we want to make sure that if you are here with us and in the Proceeding Word, you can view in and tune in. Every single solitary human being on the planet is welcome. But we do have to come through a process, to be vetted so that you're not a bot. But we'd love to have you if you want to come and hang out. And whenever we go live, you get notified. We talk about more stuff than this. We're just today talking about when the enemy comes in. We'll be coming back to talk about the cross on this coming Friday. What is the real origin of the cross? What is it that we've been doing with it? Have we been pleasing to the Father about it? What does he say about it? And so that will be part 2 coming up on this coming Friday. As well, if you have not joined Darash Kingdom Ministries, when we get into the feast seasons, you will not be able to be a part of those programmings. They will be only for those members in Darash Kingdom Ministries. So we ask you to also go and consider becoming a part of Darash Kingdom Ministries. That's a clubhouse on Clubhouse. Also, we do what is known as the, let me get these announcements on the board for you guys so you can see them. We also have what is known as, we told you about the Proceeding Word, right? You can join that. We're here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is what you're viewing right now on a Monday. As well, we do have another program called the Proceeding Word, the Darash Kingdom Ministries. And Darash Kingdom Ministries oversees the Bible studies for what we do and our Morrow After Sabbath services on Sundays at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, as well as our Bible studies on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. When you come into Clubhouse, you can join Darash Kingdom Ministries by going to our page, Darash Kingdom Ministries, and asking to come in, and we want you to be a part. Everybody is welcome. We just want to make sure we get bots and people who want foolishness gone. But also we have another programming under VWJ Ministries, which is called the Bible Book Club. That too is on Clubhouse. It's a separate Clubhouse. And we'd love for you to join us with that when we read the Bible every Thursday from 7 p.m. Until we're done. And we read the Bible from the book, line on line, precept on precept, and verse on verse. All right. You're more than welcome to do that. All right. So we hope that you'll join those and be a part of those programs. Remember too, also, guys, we are in our time of the feast seasons of Sukkah. It's coming up on September the 15th of this year. That's at sundown. That's right around the corner, guys. We are 17 days away. 17 days away from Sukkah. I proclaim Sukkah. Yom Teruah, which is going to be on Tishri 1-9. That's going to be September the 15th at sundown. Be here, bring your lamb, bring your body. Then on the 10th of Tishri, which is going to be September the 24th, bring your lamb, bring your body. We're going to be in a fast that day on the 24th till the 25th at sundown. That's Yom Kippur, the most holy day of the year. You want to be here for that. We'll be live on that on our virtual broadcasts. It will be for members only, however. Then we have also on the 15th of Tishri, which will be on September the 29th at sundown until October the 7th at sundown. We will be in Hag Sukkah. There will be 2 days of worship. One is the 15th of Tishri. That is the 29th of September. Then the final one will be Tishri 22, which is October the 6th through the October the 7th. And those days, bring your lamb, bring your body, that we might worship him in spirit and in truth. Hoping that these announcements find you guys appealing, be found appealing to you, that you would want to comply with his word in the times that he has given us to do them. So Zion, you want to intercede? Come on in and keep his word, learn his word, so you're always able to render his word and give an answer in that time of the word. Now, remember, y'all, I got a lot of believers who I love, that don't believe like I believe. I'm not coming for nobody. I'm not telling you wrong, this, that, and other. I'm showing you what the word says about what we do. Do not think I'm trying to hurt you or fight you or come for you. I'm coming for what we do. And you and I did these things based on what we were taught. And then when we went to what was taught, it didn't say that. And yet people kept carrying it on. And when you question, well, it doesn't say that. Well, that's just the way you do it. And you bow down to whoever's in authority and keep it moving. And all you're getting, get understanding. My job is done. I'm proclaiming Sukkah. I hope you guys are, and I hope that you'll be back here again. This coming Wednesday, I'll be talking about and finishing the series. This Wednesday, I said Friday. This Wednesday, I'll be finishing in the preceding word, part 2 of the origin of the cross. I think you'll find that interesting. If you have not had a chance to go and comply and understand that and go see that, go to see part 1, which was last Friday, and it'll bless your life. We're going to be talking about the origin of the cross, what it is not, why it is, why we should not, what we should do, and I think it'll bless your lives. Remember again, today's broadcast was about the enemy coming in, but like a flood, Yahweh our Elohim will raise and has always raised a standard against him on your behalf. Well, my name is Apostle V.W. Jones. I hope that you guys have been edified by this. Looking to hear from you guys again soon. We'll see you. Go back, share this page if you'd like to. Make sure you make a comment on it. We love you to life eternal. May Yahweh bless you is my earnest prayer.
If you need truth, this is the place for you. Don't need to complicate it. It's best to keep it basic. Open the book, the word is self-approved. He's Alpha and Omega, the answer since the early ages. What you should do is learn about the greatest. Just so you know, our door is always open. Let's study together instead of debating. Share our differences, let love heal all that's broken.